Hey guys, Omar here, broker and CEO of Alden Mortgage and Ome Realty. So the big question is buying versus renting. Which is good, which is bad, which one should you do? Now, this is not a clear cut like, oh, this is exactly what it's going to be and these are the rules and this is what you have to follow. Yeah, horse shit. I don't care who else says anything. Talk about inflation or you're this or, interest or you're buying money. So let me go ahead and cut to the chase. If you are going to buy a home, now I'm going to go ahead and give you my scenario, okay? I have two kids. I have to go ahead and put them to Montessori school because, well, my wife told me we had to put them through Montessori school. Montessori school was going to cost me $2,500 a month per kid. That is a ton of money. So in turn, instead of going ahead and pay them $2,500 a month, which is $5,000 a month on their Montessori school, we just went and got a semi-private school within a community that only allows people in our community to go ahead and go attend to that school. It's a 10 out of 10 school district, really, really great. It's gated, has everything that a Montessori school has, but it just doesn't have that title Montessori school. So yes, for me, this made a lot of sense. If you are a finance guy, if you're looking at this basically as an investment, does renting versus buying, am I gonna be better off? Absolutely not. Buying a home is without a doubt the dumbest thing you could do unless you have no attributions, no want in any way, shape, or form of being in the investment side of things, right? If you are not trying to burn and turn a bunch of money and you're not trying to look at a lot of things financially and you're like, really meticulously like putting a magnifying glass to it, then yeah, buying a home is it's pretty dumb. It doesn't make any sense because what's the difference between renting and buying, right? So they say after 30 years, you're not gonna have to go ahead and you don't have a mortgage and you don't have to pay anything. Yes, you still have your taxes, insurance, you still have your maintenance that you have to go ahead and pay depending on if you have an HOA or not. You're still gonna have to go ahead and pay that. Taxes do go ahead and go up by all means. Remember, if you're in 2022 right now and you bought a house within the last couple of years and you're like, oh, my mortgage won't go up. Yeah, it can go up. When your home gets reassessed, your mortgage payment could go up a couple of $100, maybe even more, depending on if you have an impound account, okay? So if you're a savvy investor, you could go ahead and go into the market. I don't really dabble too much into the market. My whole bread and butter is mainly into, tangible items, real items. Like this is real estate. This is real, right? Real tangible property. That's the type of guy that I am. I really, really like it. Of course, do I have investments? Do I have a stock portfolio? Yeah, of course I do. I got somebody that does that stuff for me. But for me, like if it wasn't for my family and it wasn't for my kids, what would I do? I would never in my entire life, which I have, and it was stupid because I lost my ass, and I'll put that in another video, how I've made and lost millions of dollars based off of what I did, and it was done. Single family residence without a doubt is the dumbest thing in the world for me. So first, when you go ahead and buy a single family house, right? Single family house or any house, a townhouse or whatever it is, your mortgage payment you're not buying an asset, right? You're not buying anything. What you're doing is you are buying money at a percent of interest. That's all you are doing. You are going to go ahead and take your taxes, your insurance, your principal, and your interest. Now the interest is the big thing because the bank that you're doing, the man that's going to front up the cash flow, and then the insuring body behind it, whether it is Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, VA, FHA, whoever it might be that is insuring that mortgage-backed security, those people are the guys that are going to make the real money. Now you have 30 years that you're going to hold off. Do majority of people hold off and pay the 30 years or 15 years and then just go ahead and go scot-free? Very rarely, to be honest with you. There's very, very, very small case of people that actually, because, things come up, life happens. You have to pull out a home equity line of credit because you need to go pay for this one's braces. Because let's face it, most people who buy a house, most people, I'm not talking about everybody, but most people who buy it are like myself, right? You are a family household. I got a wife, I have two kids, and this is why we go ahead and buy a house. If it wasn't for that, I swear to God, all I would do is I would go buy a fourplex somewhere, That's what I would do. I would still not rent. Okay, by all means, this is not a thing against buying a house. I just wouldn't buy a single unit house. I would still buy, but I just wouldn't buy a single unit house because that is financially stupid. And I am really, really good with like tangible items. I don't like looking at graphs and head and shoulders on the graph charts. And I swear to God, my stockbroker friends, whenever they talk, I just want to shoot myself in the head. But so whenever you have, if it was just me by myself, I would go buy a fourplex. I would live in one of them and have the other three schmoes that go ahead and pay my rent and pocket everything that I went ahead and do. And then the next 30 years, I haven't paid a penny in mortgage and I don't have to do anything. Duplex is a little bit more risky because, you know, let's just say they stop paying their rent. Well, now you still have a mortgage that you have to pay on the whole entire property. And if you have a duplex and you're living in one and the other person's living in another one and they don't decide that they don't want to pay anymore, then you're kind of up shit's creek. Now, I'm not going to give you exact numbers like, oh, inflation is at 1.7, because let's just face it. And if you have been around in the last couple of years, and if you have an inkling, an ounce of a brain behind you, you would know that nothing has made sense in the past couple of years. 2008 happened. That doesn't make any sense. If it's a long hold that you're doing, then yeah, you could go ahead and do it because you're just basing it off of investment. But the last 2 years, I've seen houses go from like 600 to like over $1 million. It doesn't make sense. So like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and inflation is gonna go ahead and slowly creep up. No, it doesn't work out. You have to always expect the unexpected when it comes to any type of investment. So for me, what I would do is I would never ever rent. Unless you are a savvy investor and you want to go ahead and take that X amount of dollars, you want to slowly do your growth in a portfolio, and you're going to take advantage of compound interest, and you want to just go ahead and keep it all the way until like, 25, 30 years, like somebody atypically would do for a home, then yeah, that's a different story. For me, no, I would not. You don't go to a single family residence, first of all, and if you do, rent out the other rooms just to go ahead and lower your costs as much as you possibly can, because the whole name of the game is not paying for what you bought. Do not pay for what you buy. Let other people pay for it. Why would you have to pay for it? Go get yourself a fourplex. Go get yourself, and usually I say fourplex because you could still go into the conforming guidelines, because it goes up to 4. Anything after 4, then we're in uncharted territories is what we call it. There are loan programs out there that we go ahead and do that are very, very similar to them. But for the sake of argument, we're just going to go with the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae products that they have, which is 1 to 4 units. 1 to 4 units, go buy yourself a 4-unit place. Like total of 2, 4, 6, 8 bedrooms. 8 bedrooms, go buy it, rent, live in one, and not worry about any of it. So if one person doesn't end up paying their rent, that's fine, no problem. While they're going through eviction, you have 2 other people that are paying, so you're not drowning and you're not paying an arm and a leg. Because let's just face it, if you're in a single family residence, right? If you're in a single family residence, if you end up losing a job or something happens, well, it happens. Let's just face it, in the most corporate worlds that most of us live in, or in any world that we live in, just a number. And if you don't believe me, if you're just a number, look back at the last person that got fired from your job and how fast that person was replaced. Well, this is something that just will fall straight onto your shoulders, a single family residence that you are just all by yourself. And yeah. So renting versus buying. I am always going to be pro buying. Buy it, but do not buy a single family residence. Be smart with it. Go and buy yourself multiple units. If you're already putting the money down, you're putting the 20% down. Go put it on something that is equivalent, that is going to have more units, and you're going to go ahead and just capitalize on it. Unless, of course, you're like myself and you have kids, or you have to do it because you have this person or that person or whatever it is. Like I said in the beginning of the video, everybody's situation is different. So don't listen to one person and say, oh, if you were a renter and you could take 1,000 here and there. We're basing this all like life stays completely static the whole entire time, and it doesn't mean shit. No, I would buy, definitely 1,000% buy, but always buy multiple units. And then go ahead and just let other people pay your mortgage. That's my rent versus buying hot tip. And if you do want to go ahead and buy, for up to 50% commission rebate and for any mortgaging assistance, and to list your house at 0%, 0% listing fee, link in the description below. Hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully this explained things in a different way, so you're not looking at this asshole or you're looking at this person like, oh, this person told me this number and this inflation and I'm paying at 3% and then property tax and insurance. No, whatever. Go kill yourself. This is rent versus mortgage. If you're talking about apples to apples, it's all going to be the same. Your property taxes, insurance, taxes can go up. Well, guess what? Your rent goes up every single year too. Then you have the cost of oh, let me go find another place to rent. Oh, let me go find another place to rent because they're increasing rent too much. Not much of a pain in the ass it is to go ahead and move that much. Go buy yourself a fourplex or whatever you want to, whatever plex that you want to go out and buy, and however much that you're able to afford. And let other people pay for your rent. For the love of God, let other people pay for your rent. Mortgage. Till next video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. And if you did like this content, just go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. Or just dislike it and call me whatever it is that you want to call me. Anything is much appreciated. Till next video, guys. Thank you for watching.